throughout the world, and I'm certainly aware of what has happened with Jamal Khashoggi, and I think it's terrible. I've also seen the good that the game of golf has done throughout history, and I believe that LIV Golf is going to do a lot of good for the game as well. And I'm excited about this opportunity. That's why I'm here.
But isn't there a danger that you're also being seen as a tool of sports washing, an attempt to try and improve the image of a human rights abusing regime through sport, and that ultimately you could be seen as a Saudi stooge, and that could tarnish your legacy? Is that you comfortable with that?
I said earlier, I don't condone human rights violations. I don't know how I can be any more clear. I understand your question, but again, I love this game of golf. I've seen the good that it's done, and I see the opportunity for LIV Golf to do a lot of good for the game throughout the world, and I'm excited to be a part of this opportunity.
Phil, you also spoke about leverage. You used the word leverage, and here you are sitting representing the very people you were using to leverage. How do you explain that?
I've really enjoyed my time on the PGA Tour. I've had some incredible experiences, some great memories, and I have a lot of strong opinions on things that should and could be a lot better. One of the mistakes I've made is voicing those publicly. So I will really make an effort to keep those conversations behind closed doors going forward. I think that's the way to be the most efficient and get the most out of it.
Phil, can you just clarify? You've apologized again just now. Can you just clarify what you're apologizing for? Is it you're sorry for speaking the truth about the Saudis, or are you sorry for the shameless hypocrisy of taking their money anyway?
I understand that many people have very strong opinions and may disagree with my decision. And I can empathize with that. But at this time, this is an opportunity that gives me a chance to have the most balance in my life going forward, and I think this is going to do a lot of good for the game.
Phil, can you tell me if you are serving a ban or have served
I'm sorry, say again?
Can you tell me if you've served a ban or are serving a ban with the PGA Tour? I choose not to speak publicly on PGA Tour issues at this time. Okay. Can you say if you're going to play in next week's US Open?
I will play next week's US Open. I'm looking forward to it.
And if I can remind you, please state your name and your organization when you ask your question.
Hi, Phil. Rob Jones, Sky Sports. You said something in a Sports Illustrated interview, and you just said it again this morning. What happened to Jamal Khashoggi is awful, but I've seen the game of golf, the good that the game of golf has done throughout history. No matter how successful this tournament could ever be, it can't counteract someone being murdered, can it?
No, nobody here condones human rights violations, and nobody's trying to make up for anything.
But you said those two statements, one after the other, which sort of implies that you feel that one can sort of make up for the other, and one of our colleagues used the phrase sports washing, and that surely is exactly what that's an attempt to do.
There are, the game of golf I've seen unify and bring people together, and I love that I'm a part of this sport. I love that this game has given me so much, and it is fun for me to give back and to bring this game on a global, throughout the world on a global scale, and the opportunities that LIV Golf provides. And I don't know how else I can say it. I don't condone human rights violations. Nobody here does. I don't know how else to say it any more assertively.
Phil, Riyadh Al Samurai, Daily Mail. You were talking about this being good for the game of golf. The general perception is that this is all about the money, money for the players. Can you comment on that? What are your thoughts?
I don't necessarily agree with your premise, but I think that the opportunity that it provides me to play, compete, bring the sport throughout the world, play less, have a better balance in life on and off the golf course, I know that it gives me a lot of positives personally and professionally, and I believe it does the same for everyone else in the field.
Phil, Martin Lipton from The Sun. A number of your tour colleagues have been critical of you. Can I ask how you responded to some of those criticism? And another one said you'd gone dark during your period off the course.
Let's keep it one question at a time.
Okay. Well,
what was your first one?
Yeah, how do you respond? How did you feel when colleagues of yours criticised you so publicly, given that you knew them?
So I understand how many people are going to have very strong opinions on this, my peers included. I respect their opinions. I can empathize with their feelings, and I'm appreciative to the many peers that have reached out to me and shown their.
My second question is, it was said by one of your colleagues that you've gone dark, whatever that means, but what have you done for the last 4 months? Because no one's seen you.
I have had an awesome time. I've had a 4-month break from the game that I have not had in over 3 decades. I've had an opportunity to spend time with my wife, Amy, a bunch, and travel parts of the world and spend time at a place we have in Montana skiing and hike in Sedona. What a beautiful place that is. It's given me a time to continue some of the work and therapy that I've been working on some areas that I'm deficient in my life. It's given me time to reflect on what I want to do going forward, what's best for me, what's best for the people I care about. And this is an opportunity that allows me to still have, but also have a balance where I can be more present, I can be more engaged with the people I really care about. And that is why when I think about being a part of LIV Golf, I feel so good about it.
Rick Broadbent from the Times, Phil. Do you feel you've got a future on the PGA Tour, and do you even want one now?
I have been a part of the tour for over 30 years, and I've had a lot of incredible memories that have been formed and experiences that I've shared, tournaments that I've won and been a part of, tournaments I've lost and been a part of. I also, and I've gained a lot. I've received a lot from the PGA Tour. I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything the PGA Tour and the game of golf has provided for me and my family. I've also worked really hard to contribute and try to build and add value to the tour during my time there. And I worked really hard to earn a lifetime exemption. And I don't want to give that up. I don't believe I should have to. I don't know what that means for a future, but I don't know what's going to happen. But I've earned that, and I don't plan on just giving it up.
Hi, Phil. Ian Carter from BBC. When your comments to Alan Shipnuck were made public in February, how much of a turning point did they prove in your life? How much of a jolt was it to you? Because clearly you disappeared from public life, and I just wonder what you've gone through in that process over and above, obviously, the travels that you've described.
So I shared with you all that most of what I've done during that time, and regarding anything with Alan, I really don't at this time.
Phil, John Hopkins from Global Golf Post. Hi. How long did it take you to decide that when you were going to end your hiatus, and what made you, if that's not the right word, and what made you choose to end it here?
It came down to how I felt when I would think about playing again. And Amy and I were talking one day, not too long ago, about the possibilities or the options that we had, and I found myself excited to play golf again when I talked about LIV Golf, the team aspect, the different format, as well as the opportunity to have a little bit more balance. I've played a lot of golf over the years, and when I finally stepped away and took a break, I realized that I needed to have a little bit, I guess, better balance. I've said it a few times. I just needed a little bit more balance on and off the golf course, and this provides me a chance to bring golf back into my life, but still do the things off the course I've wanted to do, whether it's traveling, spending time with people I care about. I went to my nephew's, a couple of my nephew's Little League games. I haven't had a chance to do that in my whole life. Went to my niece's lacrosse games. I haven't had a chance to do that, and it's given me opportunities, like I say, to have a better balance on and off the golf course.
Sorry, but do you realize that the more you emphasize that sort of stuff, the more people will say, have you really done your penance?
I understand that people may not agree with my decision to play LIV Golf, my timing. I understand that. I mean, I empathize with that, but this is what I think is the right decision for me, Amy, the people I care about at this time.
Hi, Rob Harris from Associated Press. Sorry about the other guys that so much is focused on Phil. I just wanted to ask, if you were a young player now and not selected for LIV, is there a danger that this free agency world would create uncertainty, reduce the value of PGA rights, you wouldn't have earned all you could do, you wouldn't have had the opportunities, and is that a risk that LIV Golf presents to golf more broadly in terms of the chaos of free agency?
Who are you?
To you, yes.
Oh, you're direct. Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. I thought you were talking to the other guys.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to monopolize. I'm sorry, guys. Would you ask that one more time? I wasn't paying attention.
I say, particularly on the shake-up that LIV Golf is causing. If you were a young player now, you weren't selected for LIV Golf, is there a danger that this whole series would, and still can do, reduce the value of PGA rights because there's uncertainty with free agency, even if you were still able to be on the PGA Tour, where you turn up to, which events you'd be at.
Honestly, you've lost me. There's too much speculation in there. I don't know where to go with that.
Sure, okay, I'll follow up. I just want to ask on the decision, did you consult any human rights groups? And beyond Khashoggi, what are the human rights violations you're particularly referring to when you acknowledge those?
I think I've addressed that about as thoroughly as I'm going to.
Hi, Phil. Kevin Van Valkenburg, ESPN. You said in an interview with Bob that you came to realize during your time away that your gambling habits were reckless. What do you see your relationship with gambling like going forward, and how would you describe how you plan to kind of handle that aspect of your life?
Well, I've been handling it for many years now. I mean, you're talking about something that was almost a decade ago, and look, me and my family, we've been financially secure for I can't even remember how long, but it was certainly going to be threatened if I didn't address this, and I did. I've had hundreds of hours of therapy, and I've worked tirelessly for many years, and I feel really good about where I'm at. And yeah, I'm proud of the work I've done. So I've addressed the issue, and will continue to do so the rest of my life.
Hey, Phil. It's Bob Herrig from SI.com. The other day, you did mention that you didn't feel you were in a place to play the Masters in the PGA. But just wondering, in reflecting back, obviously the opportunities for you are going to be less. And it's certainly at Augusta, I'm sure you feel that's a place you can still win, even into your 50s. From that standpoint, did it hurt to miss this time, and did it make you reflect on the position that you put yourself in, that you weren't there?
Every day of the Masters, I skied in the morning, and I watched the tournament afterwards. I enjoyed watching it. I thought Scottie Scheffler put on an amazing performance there. I found myself missing the Masters, but not wanting to be there. I hadn't played, I hadn't touched a club, I wasn't in a position to be competitive. But I will always love that tournament, and if I'm not there, I'll always miss it, but I didn't have a desire to be there.
Hi, Phil. Phil Casey, Press Association. As you rightly said, you've earned your lifetime membership of the PGA Tour. I was just wondering, is part of the desire to keep that membership related to the Ryder Cup at all? Are you still interested in being a captain somewhere down the line?
Just like the PGA Tour, the Ryder Cup has provided so many special memories, relationships, friendships that have been formed those weeks, that lasted a career. And I'm hopeful to be a part of the Ryder Cup going forward, but that's not the reason for me to maintain my membership. It's because I've earned it. I believe all players should have the right to play whenever and wherever they want, which is consistent with being an independent contractor.
Just to follow up on that, were you surprised, therefore, to see the likes of Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, etc., have resigned from the PGA Tour?
I saw that, and I think that they're making the decision that they believe is best for them professionally, and I respect that. As a lifetime member, I'm not required to play 15 events. I don't have to play any. I can play one. And so I don't see the reason for me to give that up.
Phil, Ian Carter, BBC, once again. How big a disappointment was it to you to not be able, for whatever reason, behind your decision to defend your PGA title at Southern Hills?
It was made clear to me through extensive conversations that I was able to play if I wanted to. I wasn't ready to play and compete. I hadn't practiced. I'd played a couple rounds, but I wasn't sharp. I didn't feel like I was ready. But it was made clear that I had the option to, and I just chose not to. And just like the Masters, I certainly enjoyed watching it. I missed being there, but I didn't have a desire to be there.
From AFP, you said you didn't want to air problems in public, and you mentioned problems with the PGA Tour. Are you prepared to give any sort of examples of what those problems are? What are the main problems with the Tour as you see them?
That would be counterintuitive to what I just said about not talking about them publicly.
No, I just wondered if you would give one or two overarching issues that you think need to be tackled, but you're saying you don't want to go into that at all.
I'm learning from my mistakes.
And just secondly, what are you expecting to be punished by the PGA Tour for appearing at this tournament?
Again, that would be commenting on a PGA Tour matter. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll deal with that with the tour privately.
We've got time for about another one or two questions, and just a gentle reminder, there are other golfers at the table.
Hi Phil, Matt Chivers from Golf Magic. Say if you were to play in the US Open next week and actually win it, how would you think that victory would be received compared to your win at the US PGA last year?
I don't know how others will receive it, but I would be quite favorable with it.
Hi, I've actually got a question for everyone else as well, but I'm going to ask one to Phil. Oscar Rickett from Middle East Eye. Phil, it's been reported that you are getting $200 million to appear in this series. Can you tell us?
I can't see who's speaking. Where's he at? Got it. Go ahead.
Can you tell us if that's true or not? And if it's not, what is the figure?
I feel that contract agreements should be private.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be the case, but it should be.
A few months ago, you were reported as describing the Saudis as scary. What did you mean by that? And if they're that scary, why are you here, given that they're bankrolling this tournament?
Well, certainly I've said and done a lot of things that I regret, and I'm sorry for that and for the hurt that it's caused a lot of people. I don't condone human rights violations at all. I don't think nobody here does throughout the world, and I'm certainly aware of what has happened with Jamal Khashoggi, and I think it's terrible. I've also seen the good that the game of golf has done throughout history, and I believe that LIV Golf is going to do a lot of good for the game as well. And I'm excited about this opportunity. That's why I'm here.
But isn't there a danger that you're also being seen as a tool of sports washing, an attempt to try and improve the image of a human rights abusing regime through sport, and that ultimately you could be seen as a Saudi stooge, and that could tarnish your legacy? Is that you comfortable with that?
I said earlier, I don't condone human rights violations. I don't know how I can be any more clear. I understand your question. But again, I love this game of golf. I've seen the good that it's done, and I see the opportunity for LIV Golf to do a lot of good for the game throughout the world, and I'm excited to be a part of this opportunity.
Phil, you also spoke about leverage. You used the word leverage, and here you are sitting representing the very people you were using to leverage. How do you explain that?
I've really enjoyed my time on the PGA Tour. I've had some incredible experiences, some great memories, and I have a lot of strong opinions on things that should and could be a lot better. One of the mistakes I've made is voicing those publicly. So I will really make an effort to keep those conversations behind closed doors going forward. I think that's the way to be the most efficient and get the most out of it.
Phil, can you just clarify? You've apologised again just now. Can you just clarify what you're apologising for? Is it you're sorry for speaking the truth about the Saudis, or are you sorry for the shameless hypocrisy of taking their money anyway?
I understand that many people have very strong opinions and may disagree with my decision. And I can empathize with that. But at this time, this is an opportunity that gives me a chance to have the most balance